Thursday morning. Free agency officially starting today in Major League Baseball. We know that the Mets got off to a hot start with Edwin Diaz, but what happens next? And, of course, the big story we've been talking about for months, Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees. What happens next? There was some stuff out of the GM meetings yesterday that was interesting. The Knicks get blown out by the Nets, absolutely embarrassed by the Brooklyn Nets last night. So good for them. I think they did the right thing in a couple of instances. They finally did something about Kyrie. They ended up keeping Jacques Vaughn as the head coach. It didn't go to Ime Udoka, and they're actually starting to play inspired basketball and start to play some defense. So good for them for once, even though I can't stand that team. Boomer's going to retire, apparently, at the end of the year. We'll get into that. We've got lots of stuff on this jam-packed Thursday. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing all right, and so I figured last night, G, that I would sit home and I'd be like, all right, man, we got a Knick game, we got a Net game. Let's take a look at this. Let's really dive into it, and let's see what this looks like now. Because I've caught, out of the 10 previous games, I want to say that I've probably caught about 7 or 8 of them, at least a half or a second half. And just watching to see how Jalen Brunson's fitting in and whether or not it's Cam Reddish and whatever the story is. And I have to tell you, the first half last night was just, it was just dead. It was a whole flat game. Totally flat. Now, the Nets, killed the Knicks, and Kevin Durant owns the Knicks and whatever, and maybe they straighten their things out because Kyrie's not playing and they finally settled on a coach, and it is the right thing, as you said. But I have to tell you, knowing Jim Dolan the way I know him, he is not happy with his hockey team, who has lost 2 games already to the Islanders, blew a 2-goal lead in their last game against the Islanders, and now the Nets basically slapped the Knicks once again. Just once again. And then, Kyrie Irving's not even playing. The Nets are 3-1 without Kyrie, and they look like a completely different team.
And the one game they lost by 2 points because Kevin Durant couldn't hit a free throw at the end, so they probably should have won that game, too.
Yeah, so they look like a completely different team, and that's a story for another day. The point being is that the Knicks, and I'm just telling you right now, Tom Thibodeau wants to save his job, wants to keep his job, and I'm not calling for that. I'm just saying that the boys better wake up. They better wake up because this middling kind of performance.
Wasn't that who they are?
I know it is who they are.
The ups and downs, the hot and colds.
All right, so 2 years ago last year they signed Evan Fournier. Mm-hmm. This is going to be the guy that's going to help with the three-point shooting and everything else. Did he just forget how to play basketball?
Yeah, he was a much better player with Orlando, a much better player when he was there with the Boston Celtics. He has come here, and he has like a flash. Will there be one game where he's the best offensive option? But he's a miserable defensive player, and he's a loafer. He's a guy that when you watch him, he loafs around the court.
I tried to watch last night. At the end of the game last night, he throws up a brick and just he's got a wide-open shot.
What are you watching the end of this game for? They were getting killed by 40.
I went back to it. I wanted to see if there was anybody that was going to make a run. I was trying to follow on ESPN, and I was, watching some Netflix movie. But it was unwatchable. It was, from a Knick perspective, it was unwatchable. For the Nets, it's a different story. For the Net and their Net fans, maybe this thing will turn around because maybe the Nets have cleaned up some of the mess that they've had going on around them. But for the Knicks, it was, dare I say, it was lazy. It was no energy. It didn't look like they wanted to play defense.
And this is a game, by the way, where there should be energy. It's the first time you play the Nets this year. The Nets have played well. You came off a really impressive performance a couple of nights ago against the Minnesota Timberwolves in their building. This is not a night where you're going to come out and go through the motions. And that's the scary part about it. This isn't like a back-to-back where you end up playing a good team on the second leg of a back-to-back, and they've been rested for 3 days, and you just get your teeth kicked in. That's not what happened last night. I expected a much better effort. I didn't expect maybe that they'd win the game, but I expected a much better effort, and I was gone at this game at halftime. How could you even continue to watch? I went over to the CMAs after that and said, if you're not going to give me an effort, I'm not going to give you an effort.
Yeah, I know, but I went back just to see it towards the end, just to see what it looked like, to see if they got it a little bit closer, and it was just as bad as it was. It was 4 quarters of horrendous basketball. It really was. It was really, as much. I was disappointed last night like I was the night that I went to UBS Arena to go watch the Islanders and Rangers. We got shut out.
Sure.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And all these guys, There's supposed to be a change in culture. Guys are going to be playing well. I mean, like, I don't know what to tell you. They are so far away from even remotely contending for a championship.
Well, yeah, but
that's what's disheartening.
And this is the stuff we were talking about, and that's why I desperately wanted Donovan Mitchell to be in the fold and was so disappointed when he wasn't, because you're adding, in the addition to Jalen Brunson, another superstar player on your team to give you a shot. And he's been great out in Cleveland. So, I mean, everybody was going, they're going to be an undersized backcourt if they do that. They're going to have to give up picks, whatever. Okay, fine. I mean, you go with the Les Snead theory, the GM out there for the L.A. Rams who wore a T-shirt that said F them picks at his own Super Bowl championship parade. Go out there and get the superstar. Because right now, they're mediocre. I mean, they're 5-6. They beat terrible teams. They lose to good teams, and occasionally they'll lose to a bad team and beat a good team, and they'll be hovering around 500 for the entire year. Maybe they squeak into the play-in at the end of the year, and then when they run into a good basketball team, they're going to be wipe the floor with them. So, I mean, I don't know what the vision is right now for this team. I don't know what the path is. So is it waiting on the next disgruntled superstar to become available? Because if you're just going to be in NBA purgatory, you're not going to be at the top of the lottery. You're not going to have another opportunity at a high draft choice. What is the plan?
Yeah, they're somewhere middling. That's the thing. They're
worst place to be.
They're somewhat competitive enough to be maybe in a play-in series or whatever, but man, I'll tell you that last night was about as disheartening as it gets. And Jalen Brunson's is here supposedly so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know there's a lot of pressure on him, and I know he's only been here for 11 games, but still, that's he and Julius Randle are supposed to be the guys. And of course R.J. Barrett, of course, is supposed to be one of the guys. But it was just, I mean, they could not hit a shot to save their life.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, and you say that, Jalen Brunson is here so stuff like this doesn't happen, and that's what we were saying about Tom Thibodeau when he first got here, too, that nights like this are not supposed to happen. Now, they happen in the NBA all the time with every team.
Not against your in-city, cross-city rival.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. Not against them. In a game, the first time you played them this year, it just shouldn't happen. So, yeah, it's disheartening, and they have to earn our attention at this point.
And the interesting thing is that they lose to a team that maybe has found its way a little bit here, and maybe they have found their way because of the coach. Maybe they have found their way because Kyrie is not playing. He's not in the middle of all this. There's no drama around the team. All of that stuff is reflective of their play. And, Kevin Durant just owns the Knicks. Like every other superstar that the Knicks ever play against, they get owned by those superstars.
100%.
They get owned by Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
The only superstar that probably didn't own them was Karl Anthony Towns the other night.
Yeah, probably.
But most of the time, when there is a superstar, when there is a top 10 player, I always feel like whether it be
John Morant,
that's right, or
Giannis,
Trae Young,
Giannis. Joel Embiid.
And listen, if Kevin Durant played against the Knicks every night, he'd win 99 out of 100 times.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. It's like, and I don't know I don't know how the Knicks fan totally feels. I mean, I've not been totally engaged. I got to be honest. I've watched bits and pieces, and last night I sat down, and that was about as disappointing as it gets. So I do know this because of the way the Rangers played against the Islanders, the way the Knicks played against, the Brooklyn Nets. The guys who work in those organizations better wake up. They better wake up, both the players and the coaches and the front offices. Because I'm telling you, sooner or later, it's enough is enough.
Yeah, but here's the issue. Like, for the Rangers, they could wake up and actually be a good team. There's a long way to go, and they had high expectations, and they went to the Eastern Conference Final last year.
Expectations are heavy, by the way.
Sure, that's fine, but that's like a team that could turn – the Knicks waking up, they're just going to wake up and be the same person. Like I could go to bed and be like, I want to wake up at 180 pounds tomorrow. I'm still going to wake up and be a fat guy.
You pay $180 a ticket to go see this?
Hell no. You kidding me? Absolutely not. No way, no how. Unless I was trying to impress a girl. That would be it. You're like, hey, let's go to the Knicks game. Go to dinner or get good seats to the Knicks game. Like if I was like a young 20-year-old something guy who was single.
A girl by going to the Knicks game?
Yeah. They get into that, get some good seats. Hey, look, there's celebrities down there. We'll go to a basketball game, and then you bring them to see like one of the other players on the other team, That's what you do.
Why don't you go to Broadway?
LeBron's coming in. We'll go and see LeBron.
Why don't you go to Broadway? Take her to Cipriani. Go to Broadway.
No.
Whatever.
No.
You're not a Broadway guy?
No, I can't.
You seem to be like a Broadway guy to me.
I seem to be a Broadway guy?
Well, you were in a band. You have that part of your life. I mean, you are you're a musician.
Yeah, but I'm not a Broadway guy at all. I am not a musical person. I don't like when I'm watching something and people break into song. I can't. That's not me.
You got to take Sabrina to go see Frozen?
Actually.
At UBS?
Actually.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Look at you.
Disney on Ice coming up. Yeah. And she just got her in the mail. She got her Elsa costume that she's going to be wearing to UBS.
Elsa!
Yeah, that's right.
No, Winnie loves Elsa, yeah. No.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Man, I mean, you go from 1 minute getting chased down by Bruce Smith and Reggie White to then having 3 grandkids.
Yeah.
I mean, like in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the F, man?
I know. Did you have like a moment of introspection yesterday that made you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's going so fast, it's not even funny.
Man, you can't slow it down.
No.
Can't slow it down.
No, it's ridiculous. There's kids all over the place, babies all over the place.
Yeah, I had this moment, this like I don't know what you want to say. It's
reflective?
not really enough.
Was it reflective?
It was a reflective moment. So I went to the Sayville homecoming game.
Oh, nice.
And because Sabrina was cheering for that, at 4 years old.
Yeah.
So then the homecoming halftime happens and all the floats come by. Here's the freshman float, the sophomore float, the junior float, the senior float. And like back then, every year was like a huge deal. Like every year was its own lifetime.
When you were in high school?
When anybody's in high school.
Yes.
Like I was a junior, I was a senior. Like now I get to go to prom. Like every year felt like its own separate lifetime. You're growing up, friends, whatever. Then college, like similar thing.
Yes.
And then you get through it and you get to like where I am in life at 40 years old. And then for you, 61. And then it turns into like 5-year chunks. It's just the 5 years go by like that. Just bang, gone. 5 years. Just like, hell, we've been doing this for 5 years. It's going to be starting, I think it'll be 6 years. Are we starting the 6th year? I don't even know anymore. But what the hell's going on?
You started in 2018.
So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So it'll be completed 5 years coming up, starting the 6th year.
So we'll be starting our 6th year together.
That's right. Crazy.
Happens so fast.
It does happen so fast. Is this why you're contemplating retirement?
Yeah, I guess I read that. I guess Spank is predicting that I'm retiring next year. You guys okay with that?
No, sir.
He does. He just throws crap out there.
Sure.
Yeah, I could just say,
Yeah, I read the one article that said, Craig having worked with Boomer and, he knows the executives there.
He's got it all laid out for me.
So there's probably some truth to this. You have to take him seriously because of his connections within the company.
Yeah.
One of those things.
Right. Okay. Big article. I'm retiring. It gets sent to me, and I'm like, I don't know where this comes from.
Yeah. And then,
I just want to let you know I will be signing a 5-year extension today, and also to let you know that in that new contract, I can leave at 9 o'clock any day, every day. So I'm only working 6 to 9.
Okay. And you can work from home.
And they're actually building a
flex schedule.
It's not really a flex schedule, but they're building me a whole studio out in the Hamptons. So.
Oh, really?
Yes. Everything.
Am I allowed to go out there?
If you want.
It's an easier commute for me.
Right. Just to let you know that I'll be here and I'll have you guys back, but I just may not be here. Sitting. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Everybody relax.
Not about the 5 years.
No, I was trying to get them to build a bathroom and a shower for me, and then I got a hot tub up on the roof too. By the way.
Yeah. Well, apparently people are panicking about you potentially leaving, so now would be the time to ask for all those demands.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
You seem annoyed by this.
Yeah, I was annoyed by it because, Spank is working at 18 hours a day, right? And he knows not what he says. He's so tired when he comes here and he works here. He's just exhausted. And I think he's tired of working with Evan. I can hear that in his voice.
He's tired of working with Evan?
Yeah, the whole group. I think he's just
totally
tired. What are you talking
about? They got a nice cake yesterday for their 2-year anniversary. It seems like everything's going great.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I can hear it in his voice, and I can hear just how tired he is, and he's working himself to the bone, which is good. I appreciate the work ethic and I admire it.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't sound like. I think when they go into stuff like that, I think he's sending a message to Evan. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't actually. Like, what message is he sending to him?
I can't stand working with you. You're a pain in my ass.
Wait.
That's what it sounds like. And I don't know why, because Evan's a great guy, and Evan's really good at what he does. And Evan is, the sports aspect of that show.
Right.
And, Craig is the fire starter, and he's always been the fire starter, and that's why he's good at what he does. But it sounds to me, I don't know, maybe it's just that Craig's tired.
Interesting.
He's got to be, because, like I said, he's working 18 hours a day. I mean, back and forth from New Jersey. He doesn't have the Sprinter van in Jorge anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's just got to be so taxing on him.
So you're telling me
he may be dead before I retire. That's what I'm saying. He's working himself so hard.
So you're telling me that he brought up this retirement thing about you because he's sick of working with Evan?
Feels that way.
That's your take?
Are
you guys following that connection?
It seems like to me that he's looking to get a new partner, that Craig is looking to get rid of Evan and get a new partner.
That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah, that's what.
I don't know, but that's just like my feelings. Just he's throwing out his feelings. I'm throwing out my feelings.
Oh, okay. All right.
So this is like an organic conversation, I guess.
Yeah, right. We're just spitballing, man.
Just spitballing, rambling on, just saying stupid stuff, yes.
Yeah, there you go. And then it gets written about it, an awful announcing and everything else.
So, I mean, so when you're working 18-hour days and you're so tired, you know not what you say half the time. And I've got myself in that situation a couple times. That's why I cut back on so many things, so I could be sharp as a tack when I'm here.
100%. What do you think the headline will be out of what you just said? Boomer thinks Craig is tired of Evan, or Craig will be dead before Boomer retires. Which one of those things do you think that they will grab onto
I don't know.
for
we'll
clickbait?
See. I guess we'll have to see.
Okay. Is Neil Best up yet?
I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I'm not really sure.
All right. Very good. Well, we're glad you're here and you're not retiring.
Yeah, I don't have any plans to do that, and if I do, I guess you guys would be the first to know. You would be the first.
Well, all right. Thank you very much. And you have not told me any of that.
No, I haven't.